Checking the payroll and the paid hours for an employee is simply a case of running a report. This will mimic the timesheet load, timesheet entry that has already been utilised. GaneTime's got a lot of menu options, a lot of reporting options. There are separate documents and information on different reports, and they'll become more apparent as they become used within the system. But for payroll purposes, the monthly timesheet creation and check report is the report that you will use. Enter the pay period ending date, and for the selected employees, submit the report. After a few seconds, this will create the monthly timesheet report, and this will list the employees, the location, whether they've got overtime allowed, the number of hours that you've entered for each day, whether they've got any absence codes, days off, whether they've worked on a day off, whether they've got any paid vacation, and it should mimic pretty much the timesheet that is already entered. You can check the basic hours that have been entered, the overtime that's been worked. These are the number of days basic, number of hours at overtime 1 and overtime 2, depending on what day it is, how many days have worked, how many days off, vacation, leave days, and any adjustments that have been made. So from a basic data entry point of view, this report will confirm the information that you've entered onto the worked hours process. If this isn't quite right, or there's an error, you go back to the worked hours process, you pick the employee in the week that is contains the date that needs changing, you go in, you can change the data, you can manually amend the data, provided it hasn't been signed off. If you need to go back to change the information, but it has been signed off, you can revert the sign-off date. You can roll this back, so it is currently on 28th of the 2nd, so you can just highlight the employees that you want to roll back and update them. For testing purposes, it's probably worthwhile entering the worked hours completely for the month, running the worked hours, the payroll monthly timesheet report before you sign the employees off. Then you can keep going back and checking and making amendments as and when required. So amendments can now be made. Now I've rolled those employees back, there's no message saying that it's all signed off, so I can go in and change the hours, adding extra hours, and adjustments. This will be particularly important when the forecasting is to be done, because at the forecast date the monthly timesheet will be run using the forecast date for the forecast hours for the shift pattern times, which will be defaulted from the employee's shift. The report will be created, the file will get transferred to payroll, and employees will be paid as per their default shift pattern. Once that has been completed and you then want to enter manual adjustments, the same screens will be used to overwrite the data for the forecasted data, and rerunning the report will perform the comparison with forecasted data and make any adjustments as required. Again, these will be highlighted on the report. But from a point of view of data input and checking what you've inputted, it's finishing the timesheet and then running the report for timesheet creation and checking.